Yo, ears to the street. So yeah, we got some fresh shit for y'all. And I could have just did it on the upload, but I figure I'll interact with y'all just a little bit. And I might still just upload it too, just for future references. But salute. Who that in here? Steady grinding, salute. Love lay, salute. Grand rising. Okay, y'all. So we got some new update for to continue on from what we heard yesterday, right? So just so we can know where we stopped at yesterday, I'm gonna go ahead and play where I stopped at last night, because this is very crucial to what's going on in this court. And I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I'm just gonna play the very last important part, and then if you wanna find out what was said last night, I made a live last night, and we went through the whole audio of what happened in court yesterday. Some very shocking details about the DNA evidence given by the DNA experts. The DNA experts, very shocking. Pretty much, it's the dagger in the case. It's the dagger. This man did not shoot that gun, and they did not test the female for DNA evidence, even though they test her for gunpowder residue. They did not test her DNA to see if it was on the gun. But wait, y'all, there's more coming, because they have the witness, the guy who where everything happened at. He was standing right on the balcony watching the whole fucking thing. So he won't be coming up to testify till next week. So that's gonna be the atomic bomb there. So until then, let's check out what happened in court. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. I uploaded a video earlier with this video that I'm about to play for y'all. So if y'all want to see this again for yourself, you know, just go ahead and go to my latest update. It's only 8 minutes. So without further ado, this is to the street 2.0. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button. Now, Tory Lanez has got a big break in this case. And I know I did a live on this, but I want to just chop out this part and show you how crucial this is to his case, because it proves that this man never shot that gun.
So once you load up and put them bullets, all right? So let's get to the handgun itself. Not the magazine, but the handgun. They said there was one male's DNA on it, and the numbers go as follows, just like with the other situation with the 62693. 90%, 5%, 3, and then 2. That ain't on a 100 scale. What the fuck is a number? I don't know. Anyway, they said that was inconclusive. They said Tory cannot be excluded or included because they couldn't prove that his DNA was on the gun. They said, is it common to see complex evidence in profile mixtures, which means that multiple people handle something? They said all the test shows is that somebody touched it. So we checked the majority of the gun, you know, for those things. They said, okay, done. Cross-examination. They said the magazine had 4 contributors, right? He said yes. Tory was excluded from the magazine. He said, yeah. He said, if I load bullets, you know, into a gun, the DNA... my DNA will be on the shit, right? He said, yeah. They say if the gun was used frequently, your DNA will be on it, huh? He said, yeah. He said, in this case, it was DNA on the casing. He said, we ain't look at that. They say, if the gun is my gun and I hold it, load it, and shoot that bitch 5 times, do you feel like my DNA gonna be on it? He said, yeah, more than likely. So they said, you have 0 evidence for my client's DNA on the magazine. He said, yeah. He said, is my client excluded from the gun? Could you say that my client had that gun? He said, can you say that my client touched that gun? He said, no. They told me to go to rehab. I said, no. Kelsey said Tory woke up and said, hey man. She said he whispered it. Redirect. They said, do you, no, they came back in and they were talking to the man. And he said, look, ultimately, I just do the damn report. And so he said, look, is there any evidence that my client touched the magazine or the damn gun? He said, no. Now, this is to get you gotcha. Child, they said, do y'all have any samples for Kelsey? Do y'all have any DNA samples for Kelsey that were tested up against this weapon? No. He said, did y'all request DNA from Kelsey to test it on this weapon? They said no. So let me get this correct. Y'all don't know what the fuck done happened out there, but y'all know a gun was fired. But y'all put all y'all eggs in Tory basket and wanted to accuse him immediately. So much so that the LAPD, with more sloppy ass work, decided, let's go ahead and test Tory for gunshot residue and DNA. And we're gonna test Kelsey for gunshot residue. Did y'all think that maybe she wouldn't have it? And then fucked around and found out it was on her hands? And nobody ever tested nor requested that she get, DNA tests or swabs so that they can compare it against the gun. Does that make sense to you? Is that logical to you? Does that sound like, any type of police department that's trying to seek the truth? Because what they're supposed to be doing is investigating. This all happened today, nigga. So I'm just trying to understand how this was ever balanced. I'm trying to understand why nobody's having a conversation about how the LAPD has cut corners consistently. And every time y'all cut a corner, it was to make Megan's case stronger. But let me continue on. I can give you 5 more minutes and that's it. And then we'll have to go over that other shit.
I don't think we realize what we're seeing right now.
Okay, ahead, little break. They pull up somebody for the defense because it's scheduled. They took him out of order because the prosecution has not rested, even though they need to take a long slumber. Oh, Instagram giving me a timer today. Oh, thank you, bitch. So anyway, let me get to the get you gotcha. I got 1 minute and 49 seconds. All right. This man was a forensic scientist that talked absolutely too fucking much. He put me to sleep a couple of times, but I was listening up. But you can tell that he loves what he does. And this man is really a pioneer in terms of DNA. I was actually taken aback and really on some like brain shit, like, nigga, you a cold piece. Like, this nigga is one of the people that helped to create the way that we analyze DNA today when it comes to that being tested and used in cases. So that is monumental. Like, that nigga didn't get a Pulitzer Prize or some shit. I don't know, that shit crazy. But anyway, we got 1 minute and 9 seconds. They said, based on the DNA analysis, that what can you tell us about it? Based on what they did. They said that they did the DNA testing on the gun and Megan. On the gun and the magazine. I apologize. They said, can you explain what the LAPD concluded from the handgun? He said that they said that they had DNA from 4 people and that one was a male. 45 seconds. They said, so at least one male was there. He said, yeah. And he said, but there was female DNA on the motherfucking gun.
Female DNA on the motherfucking gun.
Listen. Let me bend this page.
I need y'all to think about that now. The male DNA was not conclusive. They can't say if he did or didn't. But they know for sure. They know for 100% sure that DNA from the female, a female, was on there. You remember what they said? I don't know if y'all listened last night. But if you shot the gun, if you shot that gun 5 times, your DNA is most definitely going to be on there. If you shot that gun 5 times, your DNA is going to be on there. But for some reason, his DNA is not on there. There's a male DNA on there, but it's not his DNA. That is very important. But the very important thing is, they did not test the friend's DNA, y'all. They did not test her DNA. Why did they not test her DNA? But they tested that she had gunpowder on her. This shit is starting to smell more and more like just a flat out setup. This starting to sound more like a flat out setup. Fuck all that just, oh, some shit just happened. No, this starting to sound like a flat out conspiracy setup. They literally tried to line a black man up. Man, that devil would. Whoa. But y'all tell me. We got more to listen to.
So I know where I'm at. I'm gonna come back and tell y'all some more shit and get into it. But to me, that's some of the most important shit.
And we about to get into the rest of
that female's DNA was absolutely on that fucking weapon. And I'm gonna come back in like a few minutes and we'll wrap this shit up. But bitch, yeah, get into it.
Let me catch you up on what happened with the DNA experts. So both of the DNA experts said pretty much the exact.
And I'm collaborating his thoughts with other people who were in there. This is Lawyer for Workers. So these are totally two different people, totally two different races, and they all heard the same damn thing. Nobody's making up nothing. This is not shit that doesn't have facts behind it. You got the experts in there, everything. You don't get you can't get no more thorough than this. The evidence don't fucking lie.
Same thing with very minute differences. Here's the basics, and I'll tell you what I think. So they both said that the magazine was tested, and there were 4 DNA profiles on the magazine, and you can tell that none of those are Tory's. So most likely Tory never touched this magazine. On the gun, they both said the same thing, that there's 4 profiles on the gun, but it's inconclusive. You can't tell if the DNA is Tory's or somebody else's. Now, both experts agreed that you would expect to see Tory's DNA on the gun if he had shot it 5 times. The defense experts seem to go further and say, look, if he shot that gun 5 times and then they tested it, you would conclusively see that he's on it. You don't see that here, suggesting strong DNA evidence in Tory's favor. Now, then the prosecution went to try to discredit the defense expert. He's like, aren't you getting paid by the defense? Don't you always work for defendants? He's like, yeah, the LAPD has their crime prosecutor, and then defendants hire private companies like mine to do the forensics. It's like, oh, okay, well, how much are you getting paid? That's like $250 an hour. How much has he paid you total? That's like $6,000. It's like, oh, well, it was really kind of just like, look, there's experts, man. This guy's been doing it forever. He's like, are you accredited? And he's like, no, I didn't apply for accreditation. I'm certified by the same people who do accreditation. He's like, well, what does that mean? He's like, well, twice a year, our lab people all get tested. They send them blind sample. We have to do the analysis, send it back, and then we get the results. He's like, oh, okay, well, what are the results? He's like, well, we never got anything wrong. Then the guy's like, how do we know that? He's like, I'm telling you. He's like, how do we know you're not lying? Well, you can check. I'll show you the records. And then he just kept going on and on. Look, at the end of the evidence came out strongly, I think, in favor of Tory. We'll see where the rest of the trial takes us. There was one other part, the big part, which is that they never gave the crime lab Kelsey's DNA. And so on defense, the defense brought out this point that, hey, if you ever get a case file and there's 2 people with GSR, wouldn't you expect to get 2 people's DNA? And the guy's like, yeah, that would make sense. If there's 2 people who've tested positive for the GSR, we're testing one's DNA, we ought to test both DNA. So.
I totally agree. Why don't y'all leave down in the comments, let me know what y'all think. This week made 912.
Now, that makes all the sense in the world, unless you got paid not to do it. Y'all know that, I ain't gonna say their name because I don't want to get in trouble, but y'all know that rap label, they got a whole bunch of power and influence. Do y'all think that's the reason why that damn DNA never got tested by this certain someone? Why would they want to hide this, y'all? I mean, her friend probably could have got she would have got probation or something. Like, they weren't gonna treat her like they treating Tory. It ain't gonna be no big old case. So what? You shot your friend was beating your ass, but I guess that would have been an assault on Meg also, but still, it would have been bad on her reputation, yeah. But by now, that shit would have done blowed over. Y'all trying to take a man with this shit. This man coming in court every day with his child, with his son, trying to be a father. Yeah, he might not be a great boyfriend, but shit, y'all around here moving like thoughts. What, he's supposed to be loyal to one of y'all? And the way that he met y'all at the Rock Nation dinner, this just sounds like this got set up, written all over it. This guy lined this man up all over it. But I don't want to be too quick to jump to that. Let's finish with the trial. But let me play what was released this morning, early this morning, y'all. So she said she had more to have to tell, but it was getting late and she had to go meet her obligations. So she finished up with that this morning. So let's hear what she got to say now. I'm finishing what she had to say. Hold up. More details, y'all.
Will be in the courtroom. Times. She the analysis that they
shot. Now make sure y'all tell Millie to turn her camera on next time because we love her.
Okay, here she is this morning, and we got an account of another brother that was in the courtroom. Dennis
yeah, all right, cool.
Dennis Brown.
So EJ's supposed to testify next week.
Now EJ is Meg's stylist. He was the one that actually brought Meg them to the party. He's the one that Meg them told to take their stuff out of his car and put it in Tori's car. He was not there at the shooting, but he was there when, before they left the Kylie Jenner's house. And they're saying that witness is going to testify. They're probably going to say that witness for last. Yeah, he's going to be the icing on the cake. Yeah, that witness is going to be the icing on the cake. They're going to play him, and hopefully they can bring the driver up there too. But they're about to wrap this shit. They're going to wrap this shit up before probably Christmas, before the 20th, I believe.
You can see, this says that an expert says that Tory Lane's DNA wasn't found on the gun magazine, and the DNA
now
on
she's
the gun
continuing.
but a woman's DNA was found on the weapon. You can see that EJ.
It's hot off the press, y'all. It's hot off the press.
Now, is that an end all be all? No. But I think that it says a lot that that shit just got posted and his ass just liked it. Now, somebody had said, well, you know how Kelsey went up there and did, so that really don't mean nothing. Yeah, that's cool. He could get up there and say all kind of, but he was in prison for no shooting. So it ain't gonna be the nail in nobody's fucking coffin if EJ get up there and say, no, Megan was acting like a perfect little angel. She was completely sober and didn't get into it with anybody. Even if there was a situation, what the fuck that's gonna hurt? You know what I'm saying? So, he could do his thing. When it comes to this, Gossip of the City had posted and said that nothing was the same after this live. Megan got upset that Tori was on Kylie Jenner in the pool. EJ liked.
Now what she's showing is a picture of when they was at the Kylie Jenner's house and they were in the pool, and you can see Meg sitting there looking all salty, and you can see Tori in the background back there laughing and kicking with Kylie Jenner. That's what she's showing right now. Somebody posted the picture. When I get home today, I'm gonna take tomorrow off, but I'm gonna have to do some detailed stuff about this. Hey, this is just too much content for me to pass up, y'all. I gotta rebuild a channel, shit. Y'all know this is too good for me to pass up, so I know y'all want to talk about other shit, but right now, this is what's hot, and this is where I'm stopping at. And I also got some Young Thug details later on tonight, so y'all bear with it. But we've been waiting for 2 years to hear the details of this shit, and I ain't gonna lie, I am mind blown to the extent that these black women will falsely accuse this black man of some shit and try to put this man's career as a father, as a man, as everything, and play this fucking victim. Put this man in jeopardy like that. That's so fucked up. Fuck a black man, just a man, period. Just anybody. Nobody should have to go to prison for some shit that they ain't do. Or a fucking false accusation. All over jealousy. Cause you mad cause he's trying to get up on another female? Either it's the fact that he's trying to get up on another female, or the fact that or it has to do something with the label. It has to do something with the label, in my opinion.
This post as well. This shit just got posted recently too, like last week. So that's interesting. But anyway, when I left you the last time, we left on a cliffhanger. The question asked was a sample taken from Kelsey to test her DNA up against the weapon? The answer was no. They said, was there ever any request to get Kelsey's DNA so that their DNA could be tested up against the weapon?
Hell no.
They said no. Somebody said you should do YouTube videos like Impressive. Babe, I've been on YouTube for years. But thank you for the suggestion, and I'll never do it like Impressive. And that's not shade to her. She does her things how she does her shit how she does it, but I do my thing how I do it. So that's who I would be doing it like my damn self. But I think that that's very, 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 hey baby, I think that that's very important that nobody even attempted to get the DNA from Kelsey. I think that it's very important that every police officer that we have put on that stand and asked, did you do this the way that you're supposed to? But what about this? What about that? I think it's very interesting that, you know, corners were cut. You know, I don't know if you want to call it sabotage or, you know, I don't know what the f you want to do. But at this stage of development, it ain't no goddamn coincidence that, I mean, y'all didn't seem like y'all wanted to pursue anything
Except
as it pertains to Kelsey.
Except for on him. They wanted to put it on him.
What's up? That's what I'm trying to see. So that shit ain't making no sense to me if you're trying to investigate a case. Anyway, moving along. So this is where we catch up, all right?
Can y'all hear just fine?
We want to see you, baby, now, right now. So, we can begin at 3:40. And the defense called up, what's his name down there? Something Scott Taylor. Bitch, what is his name? I'll go get his name for sure, but his name is Mr. Taylor, right? So he was a forensic scientist. And so, he said that he was asked to look over the evidence from the case. So they said, based on the DNA analysis, what can you tell us about the analysis that they did? So let me tell you what happened. The defense went and got their own specialist, right?
Like they should.
And so they put him on the stand. I wish that y'all could see this shit. I'm not playing. Is there anybody listening? You're very telling. Let's give me botched investigation. Have y'all ever watched Ancient Aliens? Where are my people that fuck with Ancient Aliens?
Right here.
If you ain't never seen Ancient Aliens, you can go to Google and you can type up probably Ancient Aliens hair. It's a nigga on Ancient Aliens. His hair just stick up.
Oh, that's
that nigga
weird.
just
I know what you're talking about.
This fucking man,
I know what you're talking
he
about.
like a ancient astronaut theorist or whatever fuck, a physicist and shit, whatever fuck he's supposed to be. And so this man that got on the stand that was the specialist, baby, he is one of the people that has a large hand in the way that, you know, DNA is processed for cases, you know what I'm saying, like in America. So he did some big shit.
Y'all
like
doing that Ancient Alien dude, the motherfucker with the wild hair?
You can tell by the way that he describes certain things that he loves his work, you know, but we don't love it, you know. I mean, it's cool that you know, you so well versed in shit, but the way that he was describing everything, bitch, we didn't know what the hell that man was talking about. And I think that they just wanted him to lay the foundation and show how deep he was in that shit. You know what I'm saying? To let everybody know, like, nah, nigga, this ain't no place. I'm an expert. I ain't to be played with. But what I will say is, thank you, Mark Scott Taylor. Thank you, Mr. Dennis. So, y'all gonna save it. So, you know, everybody to me was sitting up. You ever been in a damn class and the teacher was teaching and you was like, what the fuck are they
the Mr. Dennis guy she talking about?
That's how I felt.
The next guy we
and
about
I know
to
when
listen
I looked around, bitch, everybody was looking like, nigga, DNA, bitch. He loved all of that shit. Talking, he was just, and child, bitch, I started thinking about that. Okay. So anyway, the question asked was, you know, what was you supposed to be doing? You know, you look at how, what's up with you? And he was like, you know, me and my people in my company were asked to look over the evidence from the case. They said, based on the DNA analysis, what can you tell us about the DNA analysis? They said, I can tell you that they did DNA on the gun and the magazine. They said, can you explain to us what the LAPD concluded from the handgun? He said, they said that DNA from 4, you know, people was a contributing factor to this weapon. And that one was a male. So he said, so
they better be locking them up,
and so at least one male was there or present. The DNA was present on that weapon. He said yes. And then he said, but there also was female DNA on the gun. So we have a second expert that says that there was a female's DNA on the gun. If you want to get into DNA and X and Y, and A, B, C, E, D, F, G, bitch, all of that shit, then go ahead. But they did what they needed to do to confirm that it was a woman's DNA on that weapon.
Oh man, they confirmed it.
They said when they tested it against Tory, he said, you know, we just couldn't say that he was there.
They can't say he was there.
They said, what's the significance of that?
A whole bunch
and what was the significance of, you know, doing these tests? And they said, would it have been significant to test other people? He said, yeah, it would have been significant to test other witnesses, so that they could see, basically, you know, what was up.
Wouldn't that make sense? Okay, so you see that there's female DNA on this gun, right? You already tested this male, this one male. Well, you tested both of the males. Neither one of their DNA, not the gunpowder residue, neither one of their DNA was on the gun or the magazine. If you load a gun, you got to touch the magazine, or you got to touch the bullets. Now, you can do it with gloves on. So let's say he did it with gloves on. Even while he was shooting the gun, remember he had to shoot the gun 5 times. And this wasn't one of those guns where you could hold down on the trigger and it just rapidly shoots 5 times. You gotta manually shoot this motherfucker 5 times. That's what they said in court yesterday. You gotta squeeze the trigger 5 times for this thing to go off. Now, for somebody to do that, that means the gun would heat up. So as the gun heats up, your sweat, everything that's in your hands is going to get on that gun. You can't hide that. You can try to, ain't nobody wipe it down because he had to try to hide it. If he wiped it down, then that means it wouldn't have had nobody's shit on there. So it's tested positive for a male, but it's not him. They can't say it's him. That's all you need in court. It's not him. But they tested it for the females. Who are the females' DNA that was on there? Oh, y'all didn't test the females. Oh, what a coincidence. What a fucking coincidence that you didn't test to see. The other person that got gunpowder on them, you didn't test their DNA to see how much more gunpowder they had on them, to see if their DNA is more on the gun. Then that would have told you right there who shot that fucking gun. But they're sitting there knowing this, and then give this woman goddamn what's her name, immunity, while you're sitting here trying this man and goddamn putting this man's life on the line. This is amazing. And you still got a whole bunch of motherfuckers that's sitting around, oh, she is the victim, she got shot. Yeah, she's a victim, but she's lying about who shot her. So no, she's no longer a victim. She's a fucking liar. Just tell who the fuck shot you and we can goddamn get on. Stop trying to pin it on somebody. You're no longer a victim when you're gonna pin who shot you on somebody you know damn well didn't shoot you.
Hey, this is an investigation, right? So yeah, it would have been significant to test other people. They said, what about the magazine? He said when they tested the magazine, at least 4 people's DNA was on it. But Tory's DNA absolutely was not on that shit at all.
4 people.
So, which is very unlikely that Tory ever.
You got 4 people who this clip who done touched the magazine. But the person you accusing who gun it is, they never touched the magazine, but 4 other people touched it. Now, if I got a gun, 4 other people ain't gonna touch my gun. And they damn sure ain't the magazine of my gun. 4 other people are not gonna touch the magazine of my gun. That's just common sense. But y'all are charging him with the gun. Remember I said this case ain't even about an aggravated assault, being that he's saying that he shot her. They're trying to get him on gun charges. So it sounds like somebody is trying to line him up. They're figuring these gun charges is gonna stick to him. And I think it's so they can kind of get this man out of the way. I think this some rap shit. This some industry shit, in my opinion. They thought he was gonna take a plea deal.
Loaded up this gun, put the magazine in there, and all of that shit. All right, so then he said that there were at least 2 males that contributed DNA to that weapon, but none of them was Tory. He said, but it could have been 2 other women on it. Okay? They said, what's the significance of Tory's DNA on the magazine? He said, you know, Tory was excluded. What was the significance of those results? You know, that he was not on it. That I cannot say that he had, I can for 100% fact say, ain't no DNA of his on that magazine.
100% fact say,
and I need
no
y'all
DNA
to put something into perspective. Y'all gotta get into how fast shit was happening.
That too.
Ain't nobody had time. The gun was still in the slide lock position. Ain't nobody had time to take the magazine out, wipe the magazine down, and all that kind of shit like that. And even if they did, if a nigga just fired 5 shots, you know what I'm saying, which was ass. If somebody fired 5 shots, wouldn't you expect their DNA to be on it?
That bitch would be all over.
Okay. All of that shit ain't went down, and that boy didn't touch that gun and did all that with that gun, but his shit is not on there. I see y'all on the internet talking about, oh, they wiped it down. Y'all hoes is pathetic, but it's all right though. Anyway, so
that's the smoking gun right there, y'all. No
they
joke.
said, was there any evidence that Tory touched the gun? The gun itself, not the magazine. He said that was inconclusive, but there was no evidence that he touched it. They said, would you have expected the owner of that gun to have DNA on it? And he said, yeah. And he said, if you felt like Tory was the owner of that gun, do you think that he would have DNA on it? He said, yes. If you got somebody that's continuously handling a gun, loading up a gun, carrying this gun is in a possession for an extended period of time, then yes, we would expect that his DNA
remember,
would be on
he would have had that gun all day.
They said, so it's most likely not his gun. They said, I can't say that it's not his gun, but I can say that it's very unlikely that it's his gun. Recall that the DNA on the outside of the weapon was inconclusive. So Tory cannot be included or excluded from that. It is inconclusive. Magazine, he's 100% excluded. But I think that it's quite fucking funny that there were 4 people in the fucking car and 4 goddamn contributors. But I want to be very clear that that could mean 8 different people. No one said that the 4 DNA matches, or the DNA that came off the gun, the 4 contributors rather, nobody said that those 4 are the same people or are DNA matches for the 4 contributors for the magazine or the gun. So you understand what I'm saying? It's late. I don't know if I mixed that up.
No.
So you have 4 contributors for the magazine, 4 contributors for the gun. Nobody said that those were the same 4. It could have been 8 different people. There you go, straight like that. So they said if he shot 5 times, shot that gun 5 times, should his DNA be on it? He said, yeah. They said, did they test anybody else? He said, no. And they should have tested everybody. Okay? That's what they supposed to do, huh? They said, was it any samples from Kelsey? He said no.
She's fine. She fine, y'all.
They said, would gunshot residue be on
There's another female I like
if
too.
you fired the gun? He said, yep. They said, can they have DNA on their hands if they haven't fired the weapon? He said, yeah, the puff that even emits, you know, from the gun when it's fired. He said the puff of smoke can get on somebody. He said, okay, if somebody fires a gun and I hold their hand because I'm trying to stop them, will gunshot residue be on me? They said, would you expect that DNA and the swab for the DNA and that the gunshot residue test, would you expect that would be taken at the same time? He said, yeah. So then, let's go ahead and get into the cross-examination.
Hold on, before she get into that, and I want to point out something too. Now think about what they said yesterday. They said that this is one of those guns that you can't just hold down on the trigger and it keeps going off, correct? So somebody had to pow, 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 pow. So you're telling me you look back and you didn't know who was shooting at you, but you look back and you see him, but you didn't see who was shooting in between those shots or know who could shoot 5 shots back to back like that. She knew exactly who shot at her. She knew exactly who shot at her. But why are you pinning it on him? That's the question. If you knew exactly who shot at you. Amazing.
The prosecution is a joke. I just want to say that before we got started. Mr. Alexander Bott, you a handsome man. You know, you sitting up there looking like a little Ken doll. You know, you're supposed to be appealing to the ladies, I guess. You got, your energy is more pleasant, I would say, more welcoming, seem like, than Kathy's ass. So I see why they keep throwing your ass up there. But baby, you fumble. When I say he acted a damn fool, I'm not lying. And when I say that Armenian man got up there and gave that nigga the treatment, bitch, I'm not lying. It got real intense. Bitch, the judge had to tell the attorney, don't talk over me. Baby, it got hot in the motherfucking kitchen. So what happened? It was time for the prosecution to go ahead and have a conversation with this man, the expert that the defense had hired. Now, mind you, the prosecution has not rested. What happened was, due to scheduling, they had to go ahead and bring the man in, you know what I'm saying, sooner rather than later. Okay? Cool. So, we got cross-examination.
Now,
the man say,
defense asking,
did you prepare a report for this? The man said, no, I did a summary. He said, when you do the summary? He said, December 15th. He said, oh, you just, it's like 2 days ago. He said, yeah. He said, once you say that this is a complex situation that takes a lot of, you know, looking into and all that shit, he said, yeah. And then they was asking him, like, why wasn't there the proper type of communication had between him and the prosecution so that they could be aware, you know, of what was going on in the findings? He said, when you called me, I couldn't speak to you. He said, I didn't even know that I was going to be testifying until now. So basically the man was saying,
surprise,
typically I would make a report.
Surprise witness.
But I didn't know if I was going to come in to testify. So I made a summary of my findings. And when you call me trying to get information, baby, my motherfucking, my loyalty is to my client. So I can't talk to you unless the person that hired me tells me that I can. So that's why they didn't talk. The prosecution was trying to make it seem like, oh, you threw this together right quick type shit, basically. And so, bitch, all of a sudden, we minding our motherfucking business trying to see who shot you. And this damn prosecution gonna say, how much they paid you to testify? Bitch, you could hear an audible gasp when the man said $250 an hour. Bitch, the courtroom said.
Now we can. Now her story, her the way she's laying the things out, her taking notes are pretty much the same as what the lawyer for workers is saying. She's just saying it in her own, you know, her own way, which is great because now us black folks can actually understand. Because the way that these other people telling us, they got to tell us the way white folks tell us, and we're like, nigga, talk in our language. She's talking in our language. But she's pretty much saying the same thing that old boy just said about the how they was trying to question this guy and try to act like he wasn't credible and asking him was he getting paid to do this and all that.
And you just thought everybody that was taking notes get their little pen, get their little pencil, and then hurry up and start writing some shit. I said, huh? Oh, this way you going with this bullshit? I said, all right, cool. So everybody eating this shit up, right? They say, how much have you been paid in total? You know, while you've been affiliated basically with the defense and you've been working on this. He say $6,250. Okay? Call Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer. I got a woman $150,000 from an 18-wheeler accident. I got hit by an 18-wheeler and I couldn't walk for 8 years. But Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer, came through and got me a settlement check. Bitch, he said I got paid $6,250. They said, what's your yearly income from your lab? He said, child, I don't know. They said, how much of your income comes from you know, getting basically work from defense attorneys? He says, shit, about 90%. They say, you know, that's significant, huh?
Yeah,
that's a significant portion of your income. for your
Man, she
company.
talking just like a nigga, boy.
They said, is your lab accredited? the prosecution say, is your lab accredited? The man said, no. The prosecution was so hyped up. It was so funny.
Hey, it's funny how she telling the same exact story, but this shit funny as hell.
Audited? He say, I audited myself. No. He say, did you ever go to seminars to drum up business? He say, no. Child, the damn prosecution say,
what's good, ASAP?
you testified down the hall that getting business at the seminars was a part of the strategy, didn't you? He say, yeah, but I got invited. He said, I got invited to do that seminar. They said, how much money you make from this? He said, man, I don't know. He said, man, what's your gross income? He said, pre-COVID, you know, we might have made over $1 million, but shit. He said, I'm trying to think about our last tax return. He said, probably about $700,000. But he said, you gotta understand. He said, I ain't even taking home a salary. He said, I ain't even taking home a salary in the last year. He said, ever since COVID came and fucked up everything, he said, when you have to pay, a lot of money going into DNA testing. He said, so it ain't no money gotta go into testing these samples and seeing what's up. How much you can pay out? He said, he say, when do the clock start? He say, do it start when you start your car? And he say, if I'm driving up. He say, is the clock running while you're eating? The man say, I ain't go to lunch.
That man, man, he working hard, man. He don't even take
now
lunch.
All of a sudden, everybody going back and forth. They arguing out. You got the defense saying, man, what's up? You got prosecution throwing these questions out. Man, you got the man on the stand trying to defend how much money he made. He trying to remember. I got the hiccups. The judge stepped in. I said, bitch, this some ghetto ass shit. So they said, do you agree with the other expert that Tory can't be excluded? He said, yeah, Tory could have touched it. Okay.
Just to give y'all let y'all know, I'm on the highway and I think I'm about to go to the area where it might freeze for a second, so y'all hold tight if I get to that bad spot. But we're gonna get through it.
They said it was 4 contributors, right? No idea who contributed. He said you don't know whose gun it was, right? And then he said that's correct. So the defense got though, and bitch, this was a sight to motherfucking see.
No, like man, it was good.
The defense got up there and said, "You ever worked?" And he talking to his scientist. Have you ever worked for me before? He said no. He said, has the court paid you to be an expert for their cases? He said yes. He say, ain't you on the court-appointed list for experts? Don't the prosecutor to LAPD criminalists? And don't we as defense attorneys have to seek out people like you for our own, you know what I'm saying, testing and shit? He said yes. That's why you gotta be a good lawyer. That damn prosecutor tried to make it seem like it was, and I ain't mad at him because he's doing his job. Do your shit, nigga. You gotta try to pull something out the hat when you lose it. When the defense, for the prosecution to try to manipulate everybody into thinking that this was some type of sideways ass, underbelly ass situation done in a back.
He was hired by the court.
They tried to play with that man's credentials. They tried to act like it was so crazy that he would be getting paid to come sit up there and testify on anybody's behalf. This is a key on the court-appointed list. You understand? And if you want to go look up what that man has done, and if you want to go look up his contribution
by the court
to science in that regard, you would understand he ain't nothing to be played with, bitch, accredited or not. And he said, baby, you do not have to be accredited. He said he not seeking no accreditation, and he don't care. He said he don't give a fuck if he go to ICDC college. That's what he said. So anyway, whew. So the man said, so the defense has to hire people like you. He said, yeah. He said, when you get on the stand in them instances, don't you get paid by the courts? He say, shit, hopefully. Everybody start laughing, child. We need some type of comedic relief in this bitch. So, the defense say, didn't I tell you I may not use you? He said, yeah. They said, didn't you come and do a summary? And you had to do that because of your schedule. He said, yeah. He said, didn't you ask for more information? He said, yeah. He said, I got a DNA report from the LAPD. He said, and didn't you want all of the info? He says, yes. He said, didn't you go over at least 100 pages of information about this? He said, yes, me and another person went over it. And it was a quick turnaround. But he said, he was basically saying that his opinion still stands because he still did his due diligence. Typically, if the circumstances were changed and his schedule wasn't a conflict, and if he would have known that he was going to come to testify, he would have written a report. But he didn't have the time to do that. The prosecution felt like, well, you didn't include that a woman could have been a contributor in this summary. So why are you saying it now type shit? And was trying to basically say you get the bulk of your money from defending people. So why wouldn't you basically, he was implying like, why wouldn't you get up here and say this type shit? And you trying to drum up business. So you gonna get up here and speak to some shit. But, oh yeah, we got something for that. So, the defense attorney said, was your opinion consistent with the LAPD? He said, yeah. He said, are you here lying for the defense? He said, no. They said, didn't Bot call you? That's the prosecutor, one of the prosecutor's names, the DDA. He said, yeah, and I told him I can't talk because of who, I'm working for. They said, didn't you have the same opinion as the LAPD about the DNA and the weapon in the magazine? He said, yeah. He said, would you say that DNA would be on the gun per the incident? That Tori's DNA would be on it? Per what happened, would it be likely that his DNA would be on that gun? He said, yeah. They said, was Tori's DNA on the gun? No, child. And that was it on that. And they said, okay, we're going to and his body attachment and the doctor. Now all of a motherfucking me sudden. They want to pull up another damn doctor. Can the prosecution please rest their tired ass case? Please. Please.
What the fuck the doctor gonna tell you that you already know? I'm so sick of watching Kathy Ty walk to that motherfucking door and come back with a human. I don't know what to do. I wish she would sit her ass down. We don't want to hear no more of this bullshit. This case ain't really about if she got shot. This case is about, bitch, who shot her ass. That's the question. That's the question of the day. So, they did say to Mr. Kelly, the witness that saw everything, baby, will be in the courtroom. And let me tell you something. If y'all could see where that man balcony was, in relation to where they would have been per where those shell cases were found. Important. Baby, it's like, I'll put it to you like this. You had a garage and somebody was standing outside in front of your garage arguing in your driveway and your balcony was right on top of your garage. That's how close the nigga was to them. I bet they ain't even fucking know it. They ain't even know it.
So when that man telling you what he saw,
thank God
that nigga was up close and personal with 5th, 6th, 7th floor. This is some shit out of Italy. Y'all know how in Italy they got them houses and then you got the like them balconies below in some places. Bitch, I say, damn, where we at? I didn't even know that shit was in America the way that shit was looking. That balcony was low than a motherfucker. So yeah, when we say he saw it Friday. I didn't get to finish telling you, and I just wanted to be thorough to wrap it on up. So y'all can go back and look at the last video I did, which brings you up to this point. And then I went ahead and told you what happened. I told you
I played that last night, so y'all can go back and listen to the live from last night. What's the whole live?
What were my obligations? de Leon. Okay, my obligations were alcohol consumption and marijuana use. Okay, so I had very important things that I had to do with my life. And so, you know, we had to go ahead and take a break. But there you go. There you go. I think that people got arrogant. I think that people got too big for their britches. I think that people thought this was a slam dunk and they ain't have to, you know, do their due diligence.
They thought they were going to take a
I don't think that many people thought that this would actually go to trial. Ain't no way in hell you didn't have almost 3 years to get this shit together, and this is the bullshit that you present to us. Now sit your dumb ass down. You got an F on your test. Niggas is failing. So, hey, chat niggas. So at the end of the day, I just feel like, bitch, this was one of the biggest fumbles since they let OJ beat his hand up against the wall and slide that glove on and act like it ain't fit. Bitch, this has been one of the biggest motherfucking circuses I have ever seen in my life. Y'all really had an opportunity to get into some shit, and you ain't got in nothing. If it was pussy, they wouldn't have felt the dick. This shit is ridiculous. This shit is actually ridiculous. And, you know, I just think the whole world needs to know about it. And that's what I think. What you think? They said that ain't what he said. That ain't what who said. What he said? What you telling me? Will Tory take the stand? And will they charge Kelsey? Well, one question at a time. I don't have any inside information on any one thing. And I want to make that very clear. There have been a lot of assumptions made because of the type of support that I give. And, you know, you can assume whatever the fuck you want to. You can speculate all you want to. Okay? But no, I don't have any inside information. I would not be able to tell you something like that. I have no fucking idea. Will they charge Kelsey? I don't know. I haven't been asleep lately, so I ain't just wake up.
They need to charge her ass and Meg ass.
I cannot say that they would charge Kelsey. The same way that I don't know about what's on the minds of the defense is the same way that I don't know what's on the minds of the prosecution. But what I will say is that I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to come up with some perjury charges against them. I wouldn't be surprised.
Both of them.
I'm finna add up Mr. Dennis Byron and see how he feels with it.
Mr. Dennis Byron, that's who we listened to the other day, y'all. It's another credible witness to what was going on in the trial.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Mr. Dennis.
I'm in the theater right now. I'm sorry. Hey.
Hey.
Turn myself right side up. Hey.
Okay.
What's going on?
Hey. Nothing. I was just wrapping up, you know, things from my perspective as it pertains.
A more thorough analytical approach to looking at DNA, and I saw that the audience as well as the jurors were more honed in on what he had to say, because he gave a opening of his background like a college professor who lived, sleep, eat
Yes.
and
breathe DNA. You can tell that he absolutely loved, you know, what he was talking about. Oh, but yes, when we just all didn't know what the hell was going on.
Zeros.
Okay.
But he got it back together. I did believe that and this is, you know, you and I cover things from our lens, you know, what I see. People have to understand that what you may see, it may be different than I, and what I may see, it may be different than yours. So it's now, and that's why people can't really say, well, she said this or he said this. Doesn't really matter. You see it the way you see it. I see it the way I see it. So with that said, I saw the 80-minute tape to be a problem for the defense. And I
Okay.
made some points early on about that. I spoke what I saw, and I think that Kelsey should have been held as a witness until the conclusion of the tape being played. So the
Me too. Even though I was sick of the whole melee, she should have, because they played it and it was just like, okay, on
right,
to the
that
next
is not the
thing. No
same thing
questions
with
to be asked.
Megan Thee Stallion. I don't think we should use her either, because a lot of cases I
Absolutely.
cover, they key star witnesses are not allowed to leave right away because they may want to be brought back on rebuttal, and you got to give the defense. The defense is the one
Right.
on that needs to be able to prove his or her case, and
And I wanted to say really quickly, even in Kelsey's testimony, there was still some contradiction. So it would have been good to, pull her back up and then to compare that to what Megan said and ask her, some questions
right,
as well. So yeah, I
right,
agree
and
wholeheartedly.
same difference with Megan. Both with them. Just like they held the prosecution's DNA expert for recall, they should have held the defense's witness for recall as well as the prosecution witness for recall. Especially these are critical witnesses.
Yeah.
These are not, oh, I got a plane to catch, I got a concert to do. No, you got to keep your ass here until we finish. We finish with you, right?
Okay.
You gotta keep
This
it
is
here.
okay.
So I don't know how that will impact the jurors, and is this something more they wish to have heard? Because we don't know if they, even though they don't have the transcript in front of them, they may have something that they heard the prior day that may be a contradiction to what is on that transcript, and vice versa. So I think that this case will definitely not be returned right away. I think when they get in the room and start discussing everything in totality, it may be one juror that holds out, maybe two. All you need is one.
Okay.
Right. All you need is one.
That's not my shit messing up, y'all. That's it.
The worst case scenario is they feel sorry for the victim and they give him the lesser charge.
Yes, and to me, that would just be ridiculous with this DNA evidence.
Right.
What do you think about the DNA evidence? What do you think about the LAPD not even requesting to
they
get
messed up.
DNA?
That's I have someone right now that is in my comments, not my comment, but my DM. There's a police officer. She said the LAPD screwed up in that fashion. They did not do a thorough investigation. They didn't properly exclude anyone, those who could have possibly held the gun.
Who could have? Yeah. Yeah. And now we will never know if Kelsey's DNA was on that weapon.
Yeah,
unless it was a female
as an owner of
contributor.
firearms, I don't touch my guns.
Yeah, nobody let nobody touch their gun.
Okay? Because who's going to come back on? A murder happened.
Don't let
with your,
people hold your guns, touch your magazine. Even when I'm on a range, sometimes I let them shoot with it, but for the most part, I clean your weapons, and
so that man
I think it's a reach
nobody
to
else
think that they had the time to clean the gun before the cops right on their ass. They could have pulled up, and so if they saw that gun in someone's head, someone's getting shot. So, and I don't think that was in their mind. Being drunk, you think, I gotta clean the gun.
Exactly.
That's not my shit, y'all. That's his shit.
It happening very, very, very fast. And now go back to the opening statements from the defense where they introduced the idea of a botched investigation. And it's looking more and more like a botched investigation from the paper placards.
And I think they did that on purpose.
To the faux blood trail.
You don't know what direction went in. Probably, you don't know where the spatter started or where it ended. And you usually in murder cases, you know that they create a really great pattern recreation. It didn't happen in this case. And I think that what the defense is going to do is going to capitalize on what they didn't do, which ultimately is going to raise reasonable doubt.
Yes.
But don't get mad at me, ladies and gentlemen, because they've been doing the most on social media.
You know why? Because people have convinced themselves of something, and we are just in the courtroom seeing what's happening, and people are stealing. There are people that walk in the morning and we take a break and they say, Tori's guilty. And we come back after lunch and they say, man, no, they girl out of line for what
Right.
they did. They it changed like the
Absolutely. And I did have an issue with something that Kelsey said in the interview with the prosecutor. I thought it was real odd that how
Y'all hit that like button.
really just this friend of 13 years, she just went cold turkey on, just try to just like what kind of friend does that?
And what
had to
was
be
the
something
reason?
stronger than some guys.
It had to. And then, you know, she speaks on people who work for, who Megan worked for, trying to get her a ticket out of town within the next 2 hours. This girl has just been in this traumatic situation. She doesn't even know if her friend is okay, her best friend and her employer. And she's sitting outside of a hospital being told that, girl, you got to fight for 2 hours.
Right. What was the urgency of her fleeing?
And if y'all listen from the video that I did last night when she updated us, she spoke on the way the shell casings bounced out of the gun too. They found the shell cases in the grass in the lawn of the people. They didn't find the shell cases by the car where they should be. If what they were saying was true, that Tori jumped into the front seat and started shooting from the front seat, the shell cases would have been by the door on top of the car or by the front tire. They found the shell cases in the yard, right beside each other, and even the gun experts say those shell cases wouldn't have bounced right there shooting it. So it's showing that somebody was in the yard shooting at her. So that's very crucial too. Now I didn't play that part, but if y'all want to hear that part, check that live out from last night. But there's some big bombs dropped in this case. And when that witness come up there and tell exactly what they saw, it's gonna be a totally different story than what those two women came up there and told us. And that's gonna be the atomic bomb right there, y'all. And we're gonna see two women try to put the blame on a man because of their messy shit. Or did they just try to line him up for a certain for somebody, for a certain record label? Because this man went and signed a deal with him. We about to see the example of how this go along, get along, and how the industry does these black artists when this is some mind-blowing shit. I never would have thought I would have seen some shit like this where somebody is intentionally trying to ruin somebody's career and somebody's life, not giving a fuck about them being a father. And this is a cold example of how they treat men. You supposed to just believe this motherfucker. These two motherfuckers just wanted people to believe them without any evidence and just feel so sorry that they don't ask no questions. And this man kept it 100%. He didn't snitch. Like our culture would have got mad at him if he would have just came flat out and said, oh, Kelsey did it. Then they would have discredited this man. Oh, you a snitch. You a snitch. Instead of him saying, oh man, this man trying to save his own ass. Oh, you a liar. They were quick to counsel this man. This man lost millions and millions and millions of dollars because of this bullshit.
What jeopardy was she in? You know,
they want to get her out of town. And why did they tell Kelsey a lie? Kelsey claims that Desiree Perez told her it's a glass injury. She's gonna be down for a year. Why would you tell her that?
Desiree has been in some controversial situation herself in the past, so.
Amen.
We ain't gonna go there right now.
Okay. But yeah, that was interesting Absolutely. To me. If it's true, that was interesting.
I gotta see those photos. We got some cool photos out of this.
And yeah, and I gotta take still shots of the ones that we took. I've been doing this the past night, so I ain't been able to post myself. You know, maybe repost something that somebody posted. But yeah, I have a few ones too. Next
We are.
week we back at it.
Oh, I want to say this. And I didn't say this earlier. I commend all the YouTubers that have actually came to the courthouse, and this is something I've been preaching for months, that in the internet and people post, you don't get the different places are responding to, like the emotions that come out of these questions. You don't see that if you're outside the door. And just it's like you were just explaining how people started taking notes in one area, and then kind of just was just watching in another area, not really doing motionless. You know, I saw that too. But I look at the jurors a lot, because at the end of the day, you got to convince the jurors. You know, you got to convince the jurors. Right. You know, and I would say this defense is pretty quick on their feet in catching things. What do you think about the judge?
They are. He looking like, hold on now, wait a minute, what happened? Okay, like he looking like he listening to what's being said about how it was. To me, there was a big shift when the realization came that there wasn't even a request to get that young lady's DNA.
Wow.
I
think
like
that shocked everybody.
Like, what?
Well, to people working this case, from BS having only 6 months on the job to her partner only having like 2.5 years on the job. You know, that plays a factor in creating doubt. You know, I'll experience, you know, like you said, placards, but they really weren't placards. They were just makeshift folded paper that you put in there. And the reason why you use placards is it shows a sequence of how you put evidence, which is right. Right. You know, did you start from the or did you start from the towards the car? Did it?
What did you think about the testimony about the area and the direction of which the case seems to go in relation to the photo we saw? Because what I concluded was, after the banter, was that, okay, well, most likely the gun was fired in this area. We have 4 shell cases that are basically in this man's drive area. Wouldn't they be in the street?
Well, you know, there was, I would say that you saw a part where the Mark Taylor, no, actually it wasn't Mark Taylor, it's a prosecution's witness. I got to look at today, he had a very interesting name. He based that when they asked him, when the gun is fired, how far would the casing travel? And they tried to pin him. And I think it was kind of far-fetched. He said the case, because I'm on the range. My case, that was
he said
bullshit.
18 feet. What are you talking about?
Right.
You know that going 18 feet away.
Yeah, I don't think no case is going 18 feet away either. That's a long way.
Right.
Yeah, they stop right there.
Anybody that shot a gun know better.
A foot, 2 foot, maybe 3 foot. Dude, what kind of
no damn 18 feet, 18 inches maybe.
Not many. For example, if someone just got the gun from a male or a female, it's a gun is important, because DNA is not saying on that gun unless it's in a plastic bag. So that is something that's interesting. It wasn't, numbers weren't filed off on the gun. They were filed off on the gun. So again, these are the things that people have to look at. And I think that defense
and they won't never say who the gun was registered to for some reason.
A lot of
why is that?
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
That's it. It's early.
And they never said who had the more gunpowder on them. They skipped that part.
Out there in the hills. You leaving out when you told me you were leaving out, right? But you're coming back. Okay. All right. I'll shoot you over that stuff shortly.
Okay. Well, I will see you soon, and thank you so much.
Also, where's the beef?
Where's the
on the grill? About that.
On the grill.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, people, that is what the hell is going on. And that's it. We signing out, bitch.
And that's it, you guys. So we done learned we've been keeping track from day one. I've been trying to get the people who's been in court, you know, and put it together for y'all, so y'all don't have to run all through the YouTube and social media streets to go find the ears to the street. Been making sure to, you know, keep his ears to the street to bring y'all what's going on inside the trial. Just to recap, so we had day one where they did their opening statements. The prosecutors came out, said bang, 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 dance, bitch, dance. They painted a picture of Tory and Meg arguing only about Megan made a statement about his music trash. She got out of the car because they were arguing about his music trash. He decided to shoot at her, tell her to dance, and then when her friend went to go check on her, he knocked her down to the ground, pulled her by her hair, made both of them get back in the car, and told them and tried to bribe them not to say nothing for $1 million. That's what they tried to paint out this man as doing. Then you had the defense, you know, come up and, you know, they disputed all that. Then the next day you had Meg come up. She came up and said that she got out of the car. She looked over her left shoulder. She seen Tory standing behind her and shooting at her. And he told her to dance, bitch, dance. She didn't see where her friend was. She don't know where she was during the whole situation. She didn't see Tory shoot at her. She just seen him with the gun. That's what Meg said. She claimed that she and her friend never got into a fight. She claimed that her and her friend wasn't arguing. She claimed that Kylie Jenner didn't kick her out of the house. She claimed that she never had any kind of sexual relationship with Tory, but then she turned around and said she did. She said that her friend, she didn't know that her friend was having a relationship with Tory, even though her friend came up there the next day and said she's the one that hooked her up with Tory. Then her friend came up the next day. She couldn't remember anything except for only thing she could remember certain shit, but she couldn't remember a lot of shit. She claimed that her and Meg only had a bump. They only bumped into each other. They never had a fight. They only bumped into each other, but they did have an argument. She claimed that she was involved with Tory Lanez. Meg the one hooked them up. She claimed that she got immunity, so whatever she said can't be used against her. But even then, she wouldn't say that he actually was the shooter. Shots just went off. Nobody shot the shots, but the shots just went off all of a sudden. She's claiming that she was at the hospital when Meg went to the hospital, and everybody kind of shunned her away. Meg flew back to New York. They left her ass out there in LA, nowhere to go, because she was supposed to be moving with Meg. So she also claims that that Meg was lying. And then come around the next day, they're playing all of her audio, which was yesterday. They played her audio from what she claimed that she couldn't remember because everything was a blur. So they played all of her audio and everything. That's what happened yesterday. And then they started, they also had the police officers who were on the scene. They had them come up and pretty much was useless. And then they also had gun experts, the forensic experts said that the gunpowder can't get on your hands just for touching somebody. That just for the weapon. They also said that you know, it could go up to 18 inches or 18 inches as far as the gunpowder. The forensic experts also said that that DNA would be on your hand if you shot the gun that many times. The gun expert said that this is a gun that you can't just hold down the trigger and keep shooting. You have to repeatedly pull the trigger. So then they also said that the way that the bullet shells had popped out, all of the bullet shells were found inside of the grass. They were not found in the road from where, you know, Tory was sitting at. And we also learned that they did not do DNA evidence on the female. They only did DNA evidence on Tory, and the DNA evidence came back inconclusive. If he was shooting that gun 5 times and that gun heating up, his DNA would have been on there. They definitely both agreed that his DNA would most likely be on that gun if he shot that gun. So, and we come to the conclusion of what we have, that the man did not shoot the gun. So somebody is lying on somebody. And it doesn't seem like Tori is the one that's lying. And the friend definitely had gunpowder on her, but she was not tested for DNA evidence. So that's where we at, y'all. If you need to catch up on any of it, y'all can go catch out my past lives and everything, been keeping up with what's been going on with it. Later on tonight or in the morning, I'm gonna do a live